on, Commodore, some more updates. In fact, now Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has also shared a social media statement that Iran and US, along with their allies, have agreed to an immediate ceasefire across all conflict zones, including Lebanon. Sharif called the move a wise and constructive step towards peace, thanking the leadership of both sides for their engagement. He has invited delegations from both countries to Islamabad on 10th of April for further talks aimed at reaching a final comprehensive agreement. The proposed Islamabad talks are expected to focus on resolving ongoing disputes and ensuring long-term regional stability, with Pakistan positioning itself as a key mediator in the peace process. Mr. Singh, I want to come to you. You were talking about Lebanon and how Iran's demands are largely met by the United States. Please do elaborate on your point.
You see, Kriti, I told in the beginning as well, US has practically accepted most of the demands put forward by Iran in its 10-point. So Iran is emerging as a winner and US is emerging as a loser. How it is emerging as a loser is US and Iran are practically isolated in the global community. No country, even the friends and adversaries, no one stood with the United States and Israel in the whole process of this strike and counter-strike. And the strike and counter-strike was not merely a war between the nations. It was a terrorist kind of strike. So that is unusual in the civilized world. The second thing is US has lost its credibility as a security provider around the world in different countries. So US is practically emerging as a loser, and now US has realized that no country is superior. There cannot be hegemony of any country. There must be allies. There must be the collective and cooperative action for global peace and stability. But how US interests will be served here, that is the question. US has wider interest. Israel has regional interest. And if Israel is involved in the negotiation, I don't think negotiation will be reached on 10th of April or within the 15 days. It will be the long process. Because it's not merely Iran and United States. It's the Palestine question, Lebanon question. So many questions and factors are involved in it. So the negotiation process will go for a long to come to the final conclusion. So time will take. But US has a wider global interest. And the wider global interest is US was inspired and encouraged by its action in Venezuela and Nigeria, and US might have thought that we will decimate Iran like Venezuela. But here US is not successful. And when US is not successful, US wanted to contain Chinese and Russian influence. And there too US is failed to contain the Chinese and Russian influence when Iran is emerging as a winning country, despite being the powerless country. Powerless not only in economic, even military terms. And moreover, in United States, some of the generals in American military refused to commit the war crime which Trump was trying to commit in Iran. So in the American people, American military, and even the global community all deserve for the praise that they did not support the Trump and Israel's attitude and their actions. So now how things will emerge late was, but I don't think Israel will come to the terms, even despite the US the pressure and influence. So we shall have to wait and see the attitude of the Israel. Israel considers an existential problem if Iran emerges and Iran remains as a sovereign, independent and integrated country. So Israel still doesn't want that Iran must emerge as a winner or as a sovereign country, because Israel is still interested to balkanize Iran, and for which Israel was trying since long. And Israel was also saying that for last say decades that within couple of days or couple of weeks, Iran is nearer to the atomic bomb and all these things. So the Israel's behavior we shall have to watch.
Okay,
Right
sure.
at the moment, I don't think Israel will get involved. Only the two countries, US and Iran, will get involved in the negotiating process. That too through the third party, not across the table. So
All right.
the agreement will take place where these countries will sit across the table. And that will be the landmark development when these countries will sit talk across the table. That will be the proper negotiating process, Kriti. Over.
I'm also joined in the conversation now by Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, former diplomat with us in the conversation. Ambassador, very good morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
Ambassador, what do you make of the latest developments coming in, the 2-week ceasefire that Trump has announced, especially after saying the entire civilization will be brought down, the role of Pakistan as a mediator in achieving this 2-week ceasefire, and how, if at all, Israel is becoming a restraint in the peace process?
It's an important issue. I am sure that much of the world would have heaved a sigh of relief at this postponement. At the same time, I think the two sides remain quite apart with regard to their conditions. And having tasted respectively some sort of tentative victories, they would continue to insist on not losing quote-unquote victories at the bargaining table. So I am a bit pessimistic about these talks taking to it in talks in 15 days' time, or they're beginning this Friday, but in 15 days' time leading to something more longer term and resolving the situation. Secondly, I think it will be difficult for United States to maintain armadas in Mediterranean as well as in Arabian Sea for open-ended period. They can do it. Mr. Trump is capable of doing all sorts of unexpected things. But the longer the negotiations continue, longer it becomes difficult for U.S. to continue deploying people, continue issuing rhetorical and sometimes intemperate remarks which vitiate the atmosphere. It's not in Mr. Trump's interest, for domestic reasons where war is increasingly unpopular and midterm elections are looming. So I imagine that this may eventually lead to some kind of war of attrition, wherein each of the two sides or three sides retain option of resuming it, but call the shots in terms of retaliating against other side. Thank you.
All right, Ambassador, thank you very much for your opinion and for joining us. With that, viewers, let's take a look at the 10